Good morning, ladies, or good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's Evelina here, and today I came with one guest, Holly Million. She will share about her story, but also about herself, her work, which I do believe will also have some adjustment to the journey of manifestations, because as you know, I really stay strong so much of the mind, body, heart, and soul coherence because I know when we are incoherent in those four pieces, then the manifestation process is much easier. And yeah, and I know the work of Holly, that's the part of her work will definitely also, yeah, allow you to actually activate, awake, or heal some parts towards the process. And I brought today Holly to you, and I will give the voice to Holly. Actually, then she will introduce herself, and in between we will have conversation, which I do believe will be valuable to you all. No, you
Thank
can
you.
maybe share something about yourself and your work.
Yes, I would love to. Thank you, Evelina, for having me on your show. I met you through the New Era Fest for female entrepreneurs, and we were both participants in that. And I was very struck by the luminous quality of your energy and your positive message. And so I wanted to be part of your show because this is what I also believe in. And my work is as a professional shaman, and I've been doing that work for 11 years. It isn't the job I expected to have, but it is the job that I love, and I now do this full time. I'm also an artist. I was a filmmaker, a film producer. I also worked in the nonprofit sector for 35 years doing fundraising. I was an executive director. Um, and I now also have a school that I founded called Soul Arts Workshop. And our goal is to help intuitives, creatives, visionaries, and healers to embrace their intuitive gifts and then to bring them into the world with confidence at a time when we need those gifts. I have both a left brain and a right brain approach to life. And as a producer, as a fundraising consultant, as nonprofit leader, I was very good at building things. I was good at creating things in the material world. I raised millions of dollars. I organized fundraising campaigns. I built organizations, but I kept a secret, Evelina, which was that I was also psychic, intuitive, and very gifted shamanically. I am a shamanic adept. I didn't know it, but I knew I had something going on and I hid it. And now I'm fully out. And you're speaking about the mind, body, heart, and soul, all the parts of us being in alignment. That's where things clicked for me, my personal healing journey. When I no longer was hiding parts of myself, when I embraced everything, then I felt really alive. And that's when my life became more coherent. And so I believe in what you're saying about manifestation because I've seen it in my work. I've also seen people overcome limitations, blockages in my work. And that's the joy of my work is I get to witness people getting free and to provide authentic guidance to help them to do that. So I love what I do. Um, I I have three things I teach: be unafraid, embrace all you are, and transform everything. That's the formula, and that's what I do in my work. So I do traditional shamanic things, but I do them in a modern way, and that includes things like soul retrieval. I guide people in shamanic journey. I do spirit detachment work. I help move on dead people who are stuck at locations. I have clients all over the country and in Canada. And my goal is to teach people how to do the work themselves, the work on themselves. They're the ones that are doing the healing. I'm there as an assistant, as a guide. And I'm there to help people come back to their inner guidance, their personal power, their natural intelligence. And this is resonating this conversation is resonating because you believe the same. It's that manifestation comes from the integrity in the person, the wholeness of the person. So I'm just delighted to have the conversation with you and your guests, your listeners.
Yeah, no, thank you for sharing. And definitely, I feel like this is really fully alignment because when we just met, yeah, that spirit wants us to meet exactly in this moment, and I felt really like there is some connections, and even when we spoke, then sounds like even deeper layers. Than yeah, sometimes just know without exactly knowing every details. And when you share that also today before we started, then it feels really like yeah, because what you shared, then of course you had the part of yourself which you hide, and I know how it can be because sometimes we hide it, and sometimes in my case was actually opposite. I didn't hide it, I wanted to express it, but the world and circumstances around me didn't allows me to show, and this was really like I couldn't open my power of actually express the power within because I knew with what I do have inside, because I disconnected with myself. This was like difficult for me to share because I knew with what I have, but like the world, the external circumstances or spaces, also the people which I had around. There was like, when I shared something about what I want, what is my mission or vision or whatever, then this was like how can I do it? But it made, and this was also some part of mirror can be, because when I was disconnected, of course, I wasn't fully confident about myself this moment. And it can be then this was part of mirror, but this can be also then is like sometimes the circumstances, because if you have some power within, you want also, or people or yeah, or whatever, want also put you a little bit down so
Mm-hmm.
that you not use it, and this is different. And for you was like more like you knew it, but it may be then you also felt like what others will say about that if you share, because of course yeah, shamanic work is not something that is welcome, and it's depending where of course we live, but in all over the globe that is not something, especially years back, because now is everyone also more awake and is seeking more for the healing, for actually also activating the part within, so that they can really thrive the life, not only just live by living. And it's yeah, and I see them there is now, especially in the last 2 years, then it's like increasing this awareness with other people. And that's yeah, this part what you shared, that is really like yeah, like we know we have gold within, but like we cannot use it. And what actually guided you the most to yeah, to say, or what was the moment when you share like, okay, now I am just start sharing this what I know.
Thank you for putting it that way. I love that framing of it. We learn to doubt ourselves. We're not born with doubt about ourselves. It's learned. Babies have openness, right? They're very open. So in my work with my clients, I'm there to help people reconnect with their confidence. So I've always been very confident on the front, on the surface. People see me as a leader, and I'm very outspoken and I'm very direct. But inside, I was afraid, and I knew that I would be judged as weird, because I was judged as weird, even by my own parents. So my mother, I'm a double Aquarius. I don't know what your sign is, Evelina, but I'm a double Aquarius, which is pretty far out there, right? And my mother was a Capricorn. So they're very
I am
different.
also, I am Capricorn.
Oh, you are a Capricorn. Okay. My mother was a very straight-laced Capricorn, and she was also raised Catholic. Our family was Catholic. And so there was a distrust of what they would consider occult practices. And of course, people were burned at the stake long ago for their beliefs. And so I felt very uncomfortable sharing that I was seeing dead people or that I had premonitions or visions. And as I got older and I had done more work, therapy and self reflection, spiritual questing, I healed and I became more open and I started to have more experiences. So there came a time when I was maybe about 50 that I started to have regular premonitions. I started to have visions. I started to see spirits and entities. I started to have dead people visit me almost nightly, many of them. And I was also, I had a spiritual emergence when I was 30. And that's where, if listeners aren't familiar, where your psyche says, I can't stay hidden anymore, and it erupts into consciousness. Your unconscious mind erupts. It can be very dangerous. People can have psychotic breaks. Fortunately, I didn't, but I held it all together on the surface, but I was having a breakdown inside. Fortunately, I got past that and recovered. And then when I turned 50, there was a secondary kind of moment where there was this breakthrough. So I had to embrace it. I decided not to question it or say I must be going crazy, but to say there's something really happening here and I'm going to take it at face value. I'm going to go with it. And I very fortunately found teachers who were doing this work. My main teacher was a Cajun man from central Louisiana who had been doing shamanic work for 35 years. So he believed me when I was saying what was happening. In fact, he knew he could see and share things that I had not yet opened to. So that's how I started to do the shamanic work. But I have to tell you, I had mystical experiences my whole life. I've experienced miracles. I've experienced synchronicity. Have you had your own share? I'm sure you have, Evelina, of mystical experiences in your life.
Yes, yes, also, and the synchronicity is actually always, I can say always, maybe not always, because the moment when, even when I was disconnected, there would been also some part of this of synchronicity. But yes, this is like I was guided, only I didn't knew it exactly. And even from childhood, because I am really, I believe in God, and I really, I am Christian also, and I really, practice it. But from other side, I do believe if God gives me also some parts, because as child I was also curious about some, some things, like even knowing and about the ciphers and the numbers and other things that was like coming to me. But later, I there was one moment when we did something with some one friends, and I shut down. I said, no, this went too far. This time I wasn't I wasn't open for. But yeah, now I actually went to other directions. But but this happens, and I had also a lot of synchronicities. What you just of miracles, also experiences.
I mentioned this, Evelina, and it's cool that you've had these experiences. I think everybody has, and not everyone talks about it, but if they think that, back over their life, they will remember these incidents that are mystical or odd. They don't feel like regular reality. Something has broken through. They're being shown kind of the workings of the universe. They're being shown that the universe is responding to them. They may hear their guides' voices. So, a real quick story. This is before I became a shaman. When I was a filmmaker, I wrote a film script and I was directing a short dramatic film of my own creation. And in this film, there was a scene where there was a cowgirl gunfight fantasy sequence. And I had the two main actresses had to get dressed and ready for this scene. We were shooting it at night in a boutique, a women's clothing boutique in Palo Alto, California. They go to get dressed, and one of them comes out and says, the cowgirl boots that I was given by the person doing the costumes, they don't fit me. I can't get my feet in them. And I said, well, you're going to have to do this barefoot. You're both going to take your boots off and just do it barefoot. And she was very upset because actresses depend on the right equipment, the right costume. And she's very upset. So they go back to the dressing room. And Evelina, I'm sitting there wondering, how am I going to solve this problem? When a young man walked through the front door of the boutique wearing cowboy boots. I had no idea who he was. So I said, hello, can I help you? And he said, oh, I'm a friend of your assistant director. I go, what size are your boots? And he said it. So what it was, I go, give me your boots. I made him take off his boots. He gladly did. And then they fit the actress. And we were able to shoot the scene, no incident, no problem. And I am getting chills telling you the story even now. I could not, how does that even happen? How does that happen? It was given to me, I think, as a gift. I think it was before I had really opened to all of my abilities and connection to the divine energy. I was being shown, if you ask for it, I will give it to you. You have to be just ready to receive. So I still cannot believe that happened. It changed everything. And we gave him his boots back, I promise, at the end. But those are the kinds of experiences. Have you ever had that kind of a moment where your jaw drops?
Oh, I had plenty of it. That's why I know that I manifested from childhood without knowing that, because some parts, of course, appears very fast, and some situation was like I delayed, but some like coincidences, or even this was maybe not fully negative positive, but I was on my birthday celebrating my birthday, because this just came to me just like now, then probably I need to share this this part. And I had actually some contacts which I didn't knew it how to actually close the connections, because I am also polite, and those people didn't make me something like negative. This was not very close to connections, but there was like, but I knew it, then they affected me, because this was also the time when before, when the part of the disconnection later, when we went through it. And I actually thought, yeah, I didn't know it how, but I felt like I need to do something. And I went on these holidays. And during these holidays, this was actually for my birthday, this was very short time. During the day on my holiday, I say to one friend, because I was with her, so we've been in Barcelona, and I say to her, I would love to have one day holidays just without phone, without an attachment, and also without yeah, like, and even I spoke about this contact and everything. And a few hours later, my phone had been stolen, and so incredible that you didn't know how was it happening. I had also other phone actually in my home, because I bought one time, and and in the end I could log in it, and I bought the other. But this was like happening, and I lose a lot of contacts which I couldn't find anymore. And this I do believe that this was just like, not everyone believe in protections, but I do believe that this is sometimes universe helps you also with it. This is not only that I wanted to be free on holiday from the phone, but I know there was much more probably which I wasn't fully ready to do that step on my own. That's why universe was helping me with it, to do it in different ways, because till now I don't have contacts with those people. And that's, I know, from this also moments started opening different path for me, like there was probably some heaviness which some people, they won't keep you too close for yourself, even if we are not very close, because there was like not relationship like partnership, but there was people who could, like, when you want to grow, then they can maybe lose you. And this how I felt that. And this was because when I start shining more, then this was like, I felt there was like two step up front from me. And when it was really happening, then also a lot of doors open for me, which couldn't. It made a coincidence because, of course, we not need to share, but think about that. I know then everyone have, but for me was like I probably opened the space because this is not that those people did for me. Only I was not open to, yeah, to shine it brighter, and that's this experience. I experienced it many times in different ways, but this just came now.
I love that story. You have to sometimes lose things in order to make space for something better that's coming. And maybe the universe is diverting something from your life that's not beneficial. People have lost jobs and felt distraught. Oh my goodness, I've lost my job. But you hated your job and your job was bad for you. Your boss was abusive. You needed to get out of there. You weren't able to take the steps. The universe took the step for you. And now you're applying for new jobs and you're telling me how excited you are about all these opportunities and they're so much better than, yeah. So you have to clear, which is what one of the core things I do as a shaman is to work with people who have blocked energy, or things that are holding them back. They're not able to let the good stuff in. They have become stuck. They're either having maybe major depression or chronic pain, migraines, recurring nightmares. Those are the kinds of clients that I often work with. They can't seem to get free on their own, so they need assistance. And we do shamanic healing work together, energy healing work, which can be done remotely or in person. But I had a client, Evelina, who had a session with me to be cleared. And near the end, I see a clown appear in my inner vision. And this is not normal. So I said out loud on the phone, "There's a clown here." And the client says, "Oh, the clown." And I giggled because I'm like, what the hell kind of answer is that? Oh, the clown? I go, "You know this clown?" And it turns out, yes, he did know the clown. He said, I have a nightmare. I've been having it since I was 5. And he was 35. So he'd been having this nightmare for 30 years. And I asked him, "How often do you have it?" He said, "About once a night." I said, "That's not fun. What happens in the nightmare?" He said, "I am going to sleep. A window opens. The clown reaches through, grabs me from my bed, draws me through the window into a warehouse where he's then chasing me with a knife." I said, "This is every single night." So I said, "Well, let's find out what happened. It sounds like you may have died in a past life and you're still stuck in the loop. Do you want to fix this?" And he said, "Absolutely." So we did some work. We were able to resolve what happened. We were able to recover. It was a soul retrieval. So we recovered what was lost, ended the session, and he never had the dream ever again because he needed that assistance to let go of what had happened in the past. And now he's very happy and balanced and thriving. So a lot of us have things we carry that are blocking us. Yeah. So it's hard to manifest when you're carrying negative baggage or other people's stuff that they placed on you. Maybe you grew up in a household where you were abused or ridiculed or limited. And so that has to go. And then when it goes, all this much better stuff comes flooding in. The universe wants you to be happy. You know, people talk about paranoia, right, Evelina? Paranoia is a state of mind where you feel everyone and everything's out to get you. I talk about a state called pronoia, which is the sense that the universe loves you and wants you to be happy and successful and well. If you can make the shift, it's like coming out of a door, like the old Wizard of Oz, where she comes out, it's black and white, and then she opens the door and it's Technicolor. You come out, it's Technicolor. You can't believe you were able to live the way you did. And so I believe you can transform everything. That's why I do what I do. You can transform yourself, your life, your relationships, your work, and your world. And once you unburden yourself and you recover yourself, the universe has been waiting for you the whole time. It's been waiting to give you everything you want. And that's what you said earlier. And I really like that about this, every part of you coming into alignment. That's the healing. You recover your whole self, and then the universe is dancing with you.
Yeah, wow, wonderful. And so yeah, incredible story about this clients of you, because this is like, sometimes we don't know there is something, but we need to be also open, of course. And I know, because I meet also a lot of people, and of course women, and sometimes they feel like, I know, because even I know what will happen sometimes, maybe not fully, but I can also know some parts. And this is not assumption. I just know only when I know something, I just try to let it go, to not keep it that, because this is not my space to make it. But just, it's in some moments when I feel that someone is not ready, and I know what they have, I can see it clearly, then this is like painful moment. Sometimes I even see what kind of mistakes they will make it, and this is sometimes, yeah, sometimes not good to know that. But I try to detach myself so that they can be free, and they have own path. I do believe that we all have our journey to grow. But sometimes what you shared also, this came to me then. Don't you think that some people are actually maybe, I don't know, afraid, because yeah, what can happen if they will be free from this all stuff, and that's why they didn't do work, because this is actually, this is also the process of manifestation, because that can happen very fast. But sometimes I feel like others are really scared to even not do the work that is separate part, because there are also women who maybe not don't want to do the work, but mostly is actually more scaring what can happen if it will work actually, because what if this will arrive?
Right? What will I do? How will I embrace my greatness and experience this joy and happiness? It's too much. I had that experience myself. That was most of my life. I was afraid to come out and be who I was. You get comfortable in the cocoon. You get comfortable hiding. It's safer. And you have to find guides. It sounds to me like you are very much like me, an authentic guide. And you have these incredible luminous eyes that are just radiant sparkles in your eyes of light. And I can see you see clearly and from your heart, with a heart full of love for people. And that's where you assist people who are afraid, by being that loving mirror and presence, and somebody who's also made the journey already and can say, I did it. I was terrified. I made it. It's so much better. You have to come over here. And then you give them the tools to do that. So, my framework that I mentioned before is be unafraid, embrace all you are, transform everything. And the first step is, of course, be unafraid. And it seems pat, right? Be unafraid. That's easy to say. How do you do that? I found it interesting. I learned recently that the phrase be not afraid appears in the Bible 365 times. So enough times for it to be available once a day, right? All year long, a phrase. And usually it's said by angels, usually said by angels to human beings who are reacting to seeing an angel, which is this incredibly powerful, luminous being of light. And a human in embodied form, in physical form, feels small, weak, dense, and dark and powerless compared to an angel. But the angel comes with this incredible love for the human. And that's why they're appearing, usually to make an announcement or to share guidance. And so the first step is always to be unafraid. And that takes somebody to assist you sometimes and to recover that primordial confidence you had when you were a little baby, that you were talked out of by your family of origin or your culture or your early experiences. It can be recovered. I have total faith and optimism in the ability of everyone to recover that. I was able to recover that. I lived most of my early life in terror. I was abused, neglected, and terrified most of my childhood. and into my adult years, I was very repressed and hid most of myself. If I was able to overcome it, I know you can do it too. That's what I tell people. Don't be afraid. All of us are making the journey. We know the way. You'll get there. And then once they start experiencing this, they let go of things that have injured them and start healing, then all these improvements happen. Then they can embrace all they are. Now those gifts that were hidden are going to be able to come forward. They are going to feel so much better that they can start to show themselves. So I call it like a spiral journey. You have to retrace your path, but you keep progressing forward. Each time it gets a little bit better. And then you start to look around, you're saying, my life is so different from what it was. I left the bad relationship, I left the bad job, I'm doing my art, I've recovered my creativity, I feel happy most of the time. And then you start helping other people. That's where you start helping be the medicine that the world needs. That's the main message I have. You are the medicine. And when you heal yourself, you're actually healing the whole collective. So that's why I love to do the work that I do as an authentic guide and a professional shaman who's made the journey and who can help people connect with that inner place. That's why I love the work that I do, Evelina.
Wow, no, thank you. That's really wonderful. And yeah, ladies, if you want to actually look deeper within yourself, uh, the way how Holly did, because of course we all have different layers, and I know then we all make this space like together, because I also work on the connections yourself with yourself, because I know this is important. This is actually our parts. But I also do believe the shamanic work can even activate and awaken also your psyche and your gifts, and unlock even the purpose work which you came here for. And that's why, yeah, if you are looking for someone or you are just watching the video or watching reply, you can also, of course, sharing, because I'm not looking now on the Facebook, but you can also share and connect with Holly, and yeah, and always come back to the video and of course ask any questions, because that's really deep work. It's maybe sometimes then you will feel like, oh, I will wait, but this what is really meant to you is still waiting for you, but you need to also, yeah, like Holly said, I'm not sure if this we shared before the conversation or when we started, but the universe have to actually meet you in the mid, and you need to also be commit, but also do something from yourself and make the decisions. And yeah, then I will say, if this resonates with you, then you know how to connect with Holly. And yeah, then I will ask also Holly to share maybe if you want some link of your work or whatever, then you can share later.
Yes, I would love that. And I appreciate the support that you give to all of us who come here to talk with you. Appreciate your generosity. I am offering everyone a free 20-minute discovery call. I also will give everyone who connects to me through you, Evelina, 20% off all of the services that I do as a gift. But the call is free, no obligation. You can chat. We can just chit chat, have fun if you want. Or you can share with me anything you may be suffering with or struggling with, you might need help with. But thank you so much for the conversation. I feel really lit up and in fact lighter talking with you. You have a very positive energy, and I appreciate being here.
Thank you, and I'm also grateful to having you here. And no, ladies, I will say it, just watch and share with us whatever came through this conversation. Yeah, to you. And thank you for watching. Bye bye.